grid quickly, and we caught the tail end of it on screen there, but at the back of the order, and you can just see that there is Maximiano Restrepo from Drive X School. Many of the drivers towards the rear of the field had their lap times cancelled because of constant track limit issues. Christian Ho is 19th for Campos Racing, with Daniel Nogales starting 28th for Drive X School, and Jessica Esquada starting 27th. Sorry, for Campos Racing. You then have Georgi Zurawski for Drive X School with Juan Cota just alongside him. Cota did qualify 22nd, but is starting 25th. Fernando Barrichello lines up 24th on the grid in smaller motorsport car with a 2 minutes 55.131. Technically just outside the 107% rule, but he's been allowed to start, as have all the others behind him. Alexander Abzakava starts 23rd behind Alvis Rodella, who's driving for MP Motorsport, with Eric Genet, the son of Marc Genet, starting 24th in the Technicar Formula de Campeones machine. In the top 20, Luciano Morano is going for Santalok Racing, just behind the Australian Griffin Peebles in the other Technicar Formula de Campeones entry, with Theodor Jensen starting 18th. He spun off yesterday and did not finish. And Alexander Bolduev, who also spun yesterday, he starts 17th. Pablo Sarrazin goes away from 16th on the grid alongside his teammate Ricardo Grazia, while 14th place runner Federico Al-Rifai is in his Carlin Racing machine. Flavio Oliveri got his Cram Motorsport car to 13th on the grid, just behind Jeronimo Berrio for MP Motorsport, while Matteo Palo will line up 11th in the Campos Racing car. 10th on the grid in the top 10 is Alex Ninovic with a 2 minutes 45.948 for Carlin. He is just alongside Theophile Neal for Santalok Racing, who got a 2 minutes 45.8. We then have Carl Bennett, the Anglo-Thai driver, who's racing for GRS in the bright green machine. He got a 2 minutes 45.559. He is alongside the returning Daniel Matzia, also racing for GRS. He got a 2 minutes 45.120. Enzo Deligny, the Red Bull junior driver, starts 6th on the grid for Campos Racing. He scored a 2 minutes 44.389, while Noah Lisle got a 2 minutes 44.361. He's doing a dual British and Spanish Formula 4 Championships. And 4th on the grid, Noah Stromsted for Campos Racing, a 2 minutes 43.551 alongside Valeria Rinacella. 3rd on the grid, Rinacella will be starting pole for race 3 tomorrow. That's a 2 minutes 43.3 for Rinacella. And then on the front row of the grid, coming into your screen now, on the pulling into the right slot. Yeah, so it's Pedro Clerot. On the second on the grid, which will be Pedro Clerot in the number 22 MP Motorsport machine with Keanu. There we go, Keanu Al-Adzari, who'd actually fallen out of the order. Number 14, the black machine for MP Motorsport, starting on pole position. And as the final cars come into their slots, this race will get underway. Of course, my apologies. Eric Genet is not Marc Genet's son, but rather nephew. It's Jordi Genet's son. The man at the back with the green flag waves the green flag, and we shall get lights on the gantry that go out, and this race is underway. Al-Adzari starts well, but Clerot has a better start and cuts across to take the lead. And I think Matthias had a really good start as well, possibly up to 4th position, I think. And I believe Stromsted may have also jumped into 3rd place. He has. Now, Rinacella is currently down in 4th. Then you have Noah Lisle just behind them. Matzia is up to 6th as the cars bunch together up Radion. Several going off track and rejoining. But in the lead, Pedro Clerot as they come down the Kemmel Straight. Al-Adzari is still there in 2nd position, with Stromsted on the outside of Lisle, who's now in 4th place. Rinacella down to be passed by Deligny on the side of Bruxelles. Another position, but you also have Matzia battling hard over 7th position with one of the other MP Motorsport cars. I'm not entirely sure who that was. It might have been Berrio, but we'll find out in a moment. Several drivers don't want to get too far off circuit, kick up dust. You will lose time, you will lose traction, and there's still a little bit of damp patches on the outside lines as we watch Federico Al Rifai, the number 71, black and kind of purple entry for Carlin Motorsport, currently down in the middle of the order. Clerot leads. And there is going to be an investigation for Chiara Alazzari. It was a very, very strange dummy lap to the grid. He is under investigation as to whether he's done it correctly. The stewards hopefully will make a decision on that soon. Third place is Stromsted. Fourth is Lisle, and we have a battle there between one of the GRS entries and a Sandlock racing machine. That might be Theodore Neal and possibly either Massia or Bennett as they come through Blanchimont, and they all gaggle together. A couple of cars going side by side in the chicane itself. Now crossing the start-finish line, Clerot leads from Alazzari, Stromsted in third place, Noah Lisle is fourth, Rinicella is fifth. Deligny has maintained sixth position. He's gained places and he's lost some. Oh, and a lock-up from Rinicella, and Deligny now given an opportunity to retake fifth position as Rinicella was trying to have a go at Noah Lisle, but they are going side by side. Noah Lisle in the middle, Rinicella on the inside, and oh, Deligny! I would not do that. That's why I'm a commentator and not a racing driver. Meanwhile, Clerot out front, but he's got Alazzari just behind. Noah Stromsted now is now pulled to the inside of Alazzari. He's going to try and take second place, but can he get the lead? And someone on the grass there. That was, I think that may have been Ninovic who went on the grass. There is a yellow flag at turn 1 down at Le Source, and I'm assuming that's what this replay is about. I say, oh, there was a bit of a bump and grind. That was the number 3 getting a bit of a whack and losing some parts of the car. That is Jessica Rasquada in the Campos Racing entry. That looks like an MP Motorsport car from the back, but I can't completely tell. Hoping the time. Oh, and it got another crash almost in the middle of the field. Safety car has been called. And this can be a risk sometimes when the safety car does get called and one driver checks up and the driver behind doesn't quite realise. And we almost had a rear-ended MP Motorsport car. This second race of the weekend scores fewer points. It's 18 minutes plus 1 lap. So what I can tell you at this stage is Clerot leads ahead of Stromsted. Alazzari is in third place. Rinicella did grab fourth place in the end. With Ninovic up to fifth. Deligny is still sixth. Theodore Neal is seventh place. Noah Lisle actually lost out significantly in that tussle that went from Eau Rouge all the way down to the Campbell Straight. He dropped 4 positions, so he's now running in 8th. While 9th position in this race is Daniel Matz. No, it is no longer Daniel Matz. It is Matteo de Palo in the Campos Racing entry. And running 10th is the number 35, Flavio Oliveri for Cram Motorsport. And breathe. See a lot of bumps happening in the middle of the field. And this is what I mentioned. It was a safety car gets called, and you've got to be really wary because that was almost a really significant accident. That was Alexander Abzakova, I think, going into the back of Griffin Peebles in the Technicar Formula de Campos machine. Now I can identify, I was able to identify Jessica Rasquada was one of the cars involved in that first corner accident. The other one, the car that's being removed at the moment, is Alvise Rudella in the MP Motorsport machine. that is being cleared. In theory, it should be a relatively quick clearing because they're right next to the pit lane entry. Sorry, pit lane exit. There's also another pit lane entry just further along on the downward dip towards Eau Rouge, because there are some series that actually use both ends of both sides of the pit lane for their races. Car all bunched up nicely. This will be disappointing for Pedro Clerot, who was building a nice little lead. That lead is now gone. He was under threat momentarily from the second place man Noah Stromsted as he moved to take second position from Al-Atzari. Stromsted will see this as an opportunity to go again and take the lead. Stromsted, of course, this is his second season in Spanish Formula 4. He didn't do a full season last year. He did partial season. And he basically finished 23rd in the points. He did actually score one pole position. I have, off the top of my head, I have a vague memory. He scored a pole position, was actually running quite well, and actually got punted out. So realistically, you know, you look at his 2022 record, and may not necessarily on the surface be overly impressive, but it actually should have been a lot more impressive than the points actually suggest. Safety car is coming in this lap. Now, we do have a message on screen still about so the team manager for Chiano Al-Atzari is to report to the stewards immediately. And when you see the word immediately, that tends to be more of a kind of telling off, possibly with something attached. Field coming around the rear end of the circuit. Car number 35, that is Flavio Oliveri, is under investigation for a jump start. We'll see what the result of that is, but normally they are pretty slam dunks. Effectively, that means he must have activated the trigger at some point. Safety car, meanwhile, has had his jump start of his own, shot off into the distance, and basically left Pedro Clerot to lead the field around. It is coming in this lap. Noah Stromsted is in the white Campos entry, second place, hanging very, very close to the MP Motorsport entry who leads this race. But when is Clerot going to go to restart? His foot is lightly touching the throttle, and we would expect him to go now. The safety car has cleared the lap. Clerot makes his way around the right-left, that is the bus stop, onto the start-finish straight, but Stromsted is still there. Al-Atzari in third place, the black machine. He's been chased by Rinacella and Ninovic, who's just behind for Carlin Motorsport. But right now, Clerot leads. Stromsted is still there. Some locked wheels going into Le Source. But is Stromsted going to sit behind Clerot's rear wing, get a draft, and try and move up the order? You see, Rinacella has actually got past Al-Atzari over the restart. Now Al-Atzari is going to try and retake that position by clinging to the rear wing of Rinacella as they come down to start this Camel Straight. You can always see Clerot is on the inside. He got Noah Stromsted in the white car on the outside of number 75 as they almost touch wheels. You don't really want to do that at all. Al-Atzari just behind the 14 car with Rinacella and Stromsted going. Oh, they do clutch. They do touch. And they both go off. And we got another car in the background has gone into the gravel. That is the number 26. That is Ninovic in the road and Carlin entry as they all bunched together into Lacombe. Wheels touched, traction was lost, and we have a spun car. That is Noah Lisle we're looking at on screen. But Stromsted, who has taken the lead, touched wheels with Clerot. Both of them kind of went off slightly. Al-Atzari has retaken Rinacella for third. This surely is going to be a safety car because I cannot imagine a scenario where Ninovic is going to be able to get out of the gravel on his own. But both cars for the lead going off track, and we see here, and they almost touch wheels coming down the straight, and it's just as they come into Lacombe itself. Stromsted is ahead, and I'm not entirely sure if they did touch or if they took the air off each other. and that is Deligny has actually touched Ninovic into a spin. The Red Bull livery driver touched Ninovic as they were coming around the left-hander part of the chicane. We have Al-Azzari in the gravel. That was the third place racer for MP Motorsport is in the gravel. So has he had a spin under safety car, or has something failed in his... Well, that is a turn up for the books. And all of a sudden, Theodore Neal, by the way, Theophil Neal is up to fourth position. Now, we did initially have a message that the safety car was going to be in this lap. And I do wonder if they mean this lap, but I wonder if that's going to be complicated slightly by the fact that Al-Azzari has gone off somewhere else on circuit. I couldn't tell quite exactly where. So we have Stromsted behind the safety car, Clerot just behind. Rinicello is currently running third. Theodore Neal is fourth, with Deligny in fifth place. Now we've got to keep an eye on that, see if there is maybe an investigation between... and yeah, maybe something failed. It just looks as if Al-Azzari pulled off. Well, there you go. We'll hopefully find out more after this race. We've got 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. You'll see how long it takes to get both Ninovic and Al-Azzari cleared. So you can see now the drivers have been taken through the runoff area, to allow effectively Ninovic to be cleared by the JVC machines. So it effectively allows the opportunity for the drivers to navigate that part of the section safely, and it also allows the marshals to have heavy machinery on circuit to get rid of a car quicker than they normally would. And we do see this being utilized quite a bit more in a lot of circuits nowadays, and definitely something that's being drawn into or built into a lot of newer circuits that are being designed. Well, if yesterday was a little bit topsy-turvy, this is also a little bit topsy-turvy. But we do hope we're able to clear these cars before the time runs out in this race. There's 3.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. I mean, I would assume so, because it does look as if Al-Azzari's machine has already been withdrawn. No. Actually, I think I still see the marshals there. But certainly I'd expect Ninovic to be out of the harm's way imminently. Safety car is in this lap. And it speeds off into the distance, and we're good to go. So we're just under 3 minutes plus 1 lap remaining in this race. Noah Stromsted leads. Pedro Clerot in second position, with Valerio Rinicello just behind. Theophil Neal for Santaloc Racing in fourth position, with Enzo Deligny fifth for Campos, and Noah Lisle currently sixth for Carlin, Rodin Carlin. Matteo Palo is seventh for Campos Racing, and Flavio Oliveri is under investigation for a jump start for Cram Motorsport. He is currently eighth. Jeronimo Berrio for MP Motorsport is ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is Federico Al. Is about to go live once again. And we have a green flag. And we have a restart. Stromsted continues to lead. as they come into Les Sources. Clerot just behind. Some moves in the back of the order. But clean, it was a move right towards the back of the order. I didn't quite see who it was, but you see Rinachella is looking to line up Pedro Clerot for second position. Theophile Neal in the blue and white Santalop Racing entry, sitting there in fourth position with Deligny in fifth. Now, there you on screen, you have the two GRS machines of Carl Bennett and Daniel Matteo battling over 11th and 12th positions. But right now, you've got Stromsted on the inside of the circuit, the number 75 white machine. He's already been overtaken for the lead by Clerot. Rinachella going through in second place, but is Rinachella trying to go for the lead on his teammate as well? No, he can't. Rinachella, in fact, goes wide, allows Stromsted to try and get through, but Stromsted cannot make the move work. Stromsted himself goes wide and allows Theodore Neal through to take the podium position for the moment. The Santalop Racing car up into third place. Fantastic effort, and I do believe Stromsted has also gone wide, and it allows Deligny through into fourth position. A horrible restart for the once race leader. Was leading, now down into, well, fourth position, had reclaimed fourth position, now has gone wide and has been passed by Lisle, and I do believe the number 8 machine of Palo is also going to go through on Stromsted. A disastrous few corners for Noah Stromsted, where basically he has lost 6 positions in the course of that restart lap. There is going to be finished this lap, and then there's going to be one more, and that will be it for the race. So Stromsted is not going to make those positions back again. But Clerot continues to lead. Yeah, Stromsted did drop to 7th overall in the end. Clerot continues to lead. He's just 0.3 of a second ahead of Rinachella, while Theodore Neal is just behind. Deligny in fourth place. He's going to be fending off Noah Lisle, while Palo is tracking the top 5 in his Campos Racing machine. Great effort for him in today's race. But the action now is going to be looking at this top 3 as they come down the start, finish straight and into Les Sources. Deligny is there as well. The gap is just maybe a little bit too large to do anything on this last lap. So we see a move on Lisle. That was from Palo into Les Sources. See in a moment if he was able to make that stick. And there is Palo still. He's got Lisle behind. So yes, he has actually made the move work, but just behind them. Is Stromsted trying to retake some ground, but then in the start, just in front, you have Clerot on the inside. It is Rinachella who has moved to take the lead in this race, and he has done so in Lecombe. Theodore Neal still there, but Clerot on the outside. Can he retake the lead? He can. A fantastic move, and Rinachella goes to the outside. Theodore Neal trying to make a move in the inside. Last time he didn't make it stick, but that was a fantastically brave bit of action from Pedro Clerot. Lost the lead initially into Lecombe, but then hung it around and really forced the issue and pushed Rinachella into a position where he had to give way. And that really is very much showing who's boss at MP Motorsport this time around. Theodore Neal still there in third position. He's got Deligny just behind in fourth in the Red Bull livery car. Noah Lisle still in fifth position. And I think he's got ahead of Palo, who is now dropped down to sixth, just ahead of Stromsted. Jeronimo Berrio is in 8th positions, and again we still see the two green GRS cars fighting over 11th to 12th places positions. It's really difficult to miss them because they're so astonishingly bright green. Now in the background of the circuit, Stromsted is running 6th. Now he also has got past Palo, although not much of a return on him, but for now it is Clerot as it goes through Blanchemont, just a bit too far ahead of Rinachella, I would think, unless Rinachella makes an absolute dive bomb in the final chicane. I don't think he is. No, he's not going quite. Theodore Neal also in third place, placing himself so as to not be taken by Deligny, and he holds onto his podium position, and a fantastic result for Theodore Neal and Santalop Racing, but it is the race winner. Pedro Clerot takes it from Valerio Rinachella. Ahead of Theodore Neal, Enzo Deligny comes home 4th position ahead of Noah Lisle, who was 5th. Noah Stromsted was 6th place in the end, having led briefly. Matteo Palo finishes 7th ahead of Jeronimo, Berrio 8th position, and those are the points scorers for today. The fastest lap was scored by Christian Ho on the 7th lap, but I'm not entirely he's not going to get a point for that because he finished 26th. So I'm not entirely sure who the next point scoring driver for that is. He's actually going to be Enzo Deligny. So Enzo Deligny will get an additional point for fastest lap as he secured the fastest lap and also finished in the top 4. There was a warning flag late on for Enzo Deligny for track limits. Now, Flavio Oliveri is still under investigation for a jump start, but now he's outside of the point scoring positions. He's not going to lose any points. But Santaloc Racing for Theodore Neal, that is a fantastic effort. Santaloc Racing, you know, a team famous in GT racing over the years, came into single-seaters in the middle of last year in this championship. I think the first round was at Spa in round 4 last year, so to see them on the podium already is fantastic. But the celebrations really today are going to be for this man, Pedro Clerot. And that is his 2nd win of the weekend. Really fought very hard to keep Runacella at bay. And I really mean it. It's one of those things that's really is showing who's boss effectively. And Runacella with a year's experience already behind him. He'll have smiles on his face now for getting the podium, but I think he'll be grimacing underneath. And celebrations with the MP mechanics. Another 1-2 for them. And some celebrations as mentioned as well for Santaloc Racing. I think their first podium at this level of Formula 4. As the last few drivers making their way into the pit lane shortcut. And with that, 7 laps. As mentioned, Pedro Clerot winning the race ahead of Valerio Runacella after a last lap battle. They were ahead of Theophile Neal and Santaloc Racing. Enzo Deligny took 4th place ahead of Noah Lisle, while Noel Stromsted did lead, but had a poor first lap after the safety car dropped him right down the order. He did pass Matteo Palo late on to regain 6th. Palo coming home 7th. Jeronimo, Berrio came home 8th ahead of Federico Alrifai. Flavio Oliveri was 10th. Danny Mazzia 11th. Riccardo Grazia 12th. Alexander Balduev, who didn't finish yesterday, finishes today in 13th. Luciano Morano for the Santaloc Racing entry coming home 14th place. From 15th onwards, relatively quiet actually down the order. Theodore Jensen came home 15th for Santaloc Racing with Carl Bennett, who was initially battling for 11th and 12th positions, ended up finishing 16th. Pablo Sarrazat from Monlau Motorsport came home 17th ahead of Griffin Peebles in the Technicar Formula de Campagnolo Century. He was 18th. Juan Cota headed a DriveX School trio in 19th. Alexander Abkazava coming home 20th, and Daniel Nogales 21st. Eric Genet was 22nd in the Technicar Formula de Campagnos machine, with 23rd place being filled by Georgi Zavravsky for DriveX. Fernando Barrichello was 24th in the Monlau Motorsport car, with Jessica Carrasquada coming home 25th. Christian Ho was 26th, and last finisher today was Maximiano Restrepo for DriveX School. Non-finishers, Keanu Alazzari was in the gravel. We don't know if that was a spin or a mechanical issue. Alex Ninovich was definitely a spin. He was tipped into a spin by Enzo Deligny, which brought out one of the safety cars, and Alvise Rodella was a result of another safety car late on, or sorry, very, very early on. He was clipped into a spin by Carrasquada. That was the first lap. Contretemps, the safety car came out, caught some drivers by surprise. And in that sense, Ninovic was also caught by surprise by Deligny, while Alazzari went off into the gravel. But the driver today is surely Pedro Clerot. Winning that race, his second race win of the year. Well, it's only the second race of the year. And a driver with a little bit of pedigree. He raced in Formula UAE earlier on this year. He came home 13th overall, but is the 2022 Brazilian Formula 4 Championship. Won 7 races on that occasion, and in 2021 also won the. He was the runner-up in the Formula Delta Championship. Took 2 wins on that occasion. So this is a little bit of an outlier, just so that we are aware that it has been a rule, one of the sporting rule changes for this year, that we are going to see longer races in Spanish Formula 4. Due to congested schedule this weekend, Spanish Formula 4 is hanging on to the old race length of 25 minutes plus 1 lap for races 1 and 3, and 18 minutes plus 1 lap for race 2. From round 2 onwards, that actually changes, it extends. So races 1 and 3 will be 30 minutes plus 1 lap, and race 2 will be 25 minutes plus 1 lap. That is from the second round onwards. So that is just something to remember when the coming races later on this season. That's starting from the second round at Motorland Aragon onwards. It will be 30 minutes plus 1 lap for races 1 and 3, and 25 minutes plus 1 lap for race 2. Effectively the same points structure, though. As we now wait for the podium celebrations for this race. And a beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And we're so happy that the weather has stayed so much nicer today than it was yesterday. It was apart yesterday, it was quite nice, but it was also dreadfully changeable. We got a horrible rain shower late on, pretty much as the clock was running out for yesterday's Formula 4 race. We had a very, very hard rain shower, and then a crash in the middle of it that pretty much brought out the red flag. And that was followed by a Eurocup 3 race that was quite frankly crazy. On one side of the track it was absolutely sodden, and then on the other side of the track was relatively just kind of greasy. But none of that today. Dry as a bone. And we've had some good, straight Formula 4 action as we wait for the top 3 drivers to come onto the podium. It will be interesting to see, I mean, this is still a very, very, very early stage in the careers for these drivers. Pedro Clerot is, after all, only 16 years old. He turned 16 a few months ago. But it has been a little bit of a dearth of Brazilian drivers making it to Formula 1 in recent years. And for such a country that has such a history of motorsport and a wealth of incredibly talented drivers, there is a bit of a kind of desire to get Brazilian drivers back into the field. And who knows, if Clerot can kind of maintain that through the categories, he could be one of Brazil's next stars. We shall see. As you can see, some cars filtering through in the pit lane, ready for the next session of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps this morning. Warnings, admittedly late on in the race for Enzo Deligny. I mentioned this earlier on about track limits, but not enough to really warrant any penalty. But the drivers and teams will be keeping an eye on that tomorrow for the longer race. Now, put that aside, we have the podium celebration coming up now in the top three. The team representative come out for their celebrations.
Second place with car number 55 from the MP Motorsport squad coming from Italy, Berrio.
Third place for Santalop Racing for Pedro Clerot. Brilliant drive. Second place, Valerio Rinicello will be happy to have the podium, but will still be maybe a little bit disappointed to come home second place, having led briefly. But the race winner once again, as yesterday, Pedro Clerot for MP Motorsport. And we will have the team representative for MP Motorsport also join them on the podium. And the national anthem for Brazil.
And that's a victory for Pedro Clerot with this car to number 22 of MP Motorsport. Second place for Valerio Rinicello from MP Motorsport, also with car number 55. And third place for Théophile Nael, Santalop Racing, car number 4. Congrats, guys. Let's take the trophies, please. On va prendre les trophées et puis faire les photos officielles, the official pictures now. Let's present the trophies. Thank you. All together on the top spot of the podium for this pictures of race 2. In the Spanish Formula 4 Championship here in Spa. La photo officielle sur le podium avec bien sûr la team représentative de MP Motorsport pour la F4 espagnole. And just after that, well, let's celebrate champagne.
And, well, the drivers don't seem to actually want to spray the champagne. Maybe later. It's the alcohol-free stuff. So it's not like they're going to have that much fun. It has been a wonderful second race, Spanish Formula 4 Championship. And we will be back to... I think we now have the trophy celebration for the rookie driver, which would be also, no, not Pedro Clerot, it would probably be fourth place. I think it might be Enzo Deligny.
Coming from the Campos Racing Drivers Development, Matteo de Palo.
Oh, no, Matteo de Palo.
It's an Italian driver.
So a trophy for the rookie driver.
Coming from Denmark, Campos Racing, Noah Stromsted. Second place for Noah Stromsted in the rookie category, and the victory coming from France. On va le faire en français d'ailleurs, le pilote Campos Racing numéro 17, Enzo Deligny. Bravo Enzo.
Oh, it was Enzo Deligny.
Cette épreuve sous les couleurs bien connues. Messieurs, on prend les trophées. Let's take the trophies, please, and present the trophies for the official pictures of this rookie category.
No podium for this, or no national anthem for this rookie celebration, by the way. It's just the podiums, trophies, and pictures. So, thank you very much for watching today's second race of this opening round of the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. We will be back tomorrow for the final race of the weekend. It'll be going green at around, well, we should be going stream at around 8 a.m. UK, 9 a.m. Oh, now they got the spray. 9 a.m. in Europe for a race start at 9:15 European time. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been Leo Gorman, and until tomorrow, goodbye, and thank you for watching.